There we go. Boom. Welcome guys to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching this video. And this is the first video of something that I've been wanting to create for such a long time and shout above the rooftops. So we've done it. Thank you for being here. So this is the Road to Classic, my first ever natural bodybuilding competition that I've competed in my life as a first timer, as a natural athlete, and I'm so excited, okay? So you guys are in for an absolute ride because I am gonna be documenting my training, my diet, my supplementation, my blood work, my posing, everything as I hit my first comp. And the first competition is just 16 weeks away in the heart of England with the UK FDBA, I believe, on the 25th of May, and also a second competition that we've booked for the June the 29th, which is the PCA natural division. Again, drug tested, and I cannot wait because bodybuilding is something that I've always been passionate about from a young age, from when I first got into it at the age of 18, and it was always something that I wanted to do and compete in, but never really pulled the plug. So here we are, we've actually done it, and we've been building up to this for the last 7 months, been working hard behind the scenes of building the some lean mass before we now start the cut, which has officially begun, and preparing ourselves for the first competition. So we cannot wait for this, and you guys are going to be there every step of the way. So I'm always asked, well, Joe, why did you choose bodybuilding? What made you book, especially like an all natural competition? And I'm going to go into a little bit of this in a second. But for me, it was always a big passion of mine, bodybuilding. Like, I loved looking at the physiques of the guys in the golden era in the 70s and 80s, like Dave Draper, Frank Zane, Franco Colombo, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mike Mensa, all the GOATs. And, you know, looking at what was possible back then when, you know, it was all about just keeping things as holistic as possible. And I know a lot of them were on drugs, each their own, but it was about health. It was about getting outside in natural sunlight. It was about eating natural foods, you know, tanning naturally as well in the sun, and, you know, and a real big push on lifestyle and keeping this nice balance. Whereas I think from what I've seen, we're kind of like not really we so much like being in the health and fitness industry, we are not really focusing on the core elements of that, which is having our health. So hence why I'm going to be documenting this process, because I myself, I am a functional health coach, so I specialize in functional medicine and nutrition, and we also do blood work as well with our clients, which you'll learn about as to why this is so important. But for me, that's what got me started. But because I was from a very different start point to where I am now, you know, you have to have something to aim towards as a young man. And at the age of 18, when I just started training, I wasn't really, you know, I was quite skinny, I was quite shy, and I was not really confident in my own skin. And believe it or not, at the time, I was actually in game design and development. So I studied game design. I was going to be pursuing a career in game design. That is all I was kind of focused on back in the day. And I knew something wasn't right because I had a 6-month bout of chronic fatigue, and it really knocked me back, where I had to stop working. I couldn't go and I couldn't live my life basically for 6 months. I was so fatigued. I lost a hell of a lot of weight. I think I lost about sort of 15 kilos of my body weight. You know, just making a cup of tea was exhausting, and I knew something wasn't right. And this is where a lot of us fall into the trap of using the healthcare system to kind of fix our issues, and it has its pros, it has its cons. However, I found that I was moving from like a pinball in a pinball machine, from a specialist to a blood test to doctor, and they still couldn't find what was wrong with me. For a guy of 18, this was not normal, and I was kind of left in the sick care system. So then that's when I knew I had to put matters into my own hands, and I really focused on just looking at the basics, looking at natural sunlight, looking at how our diet and how exercise, sleep, recovery, stress plays on our body. And fast track to 6 months from that date, I managed to completely reverse all those chronic fatigue syndrome symptoms. My bloods back then started to improve into their ranges. I started having more energy and more fulfillment again, more motivation. And that's when I got into training and used bodybuilding as a way to do that. And like I said, I was always fascinated by the guys and the physiques from the golden era, from the 70s and the 80s. And I would imitate, the physiques of those guys like Frank Zane. And I naturally found bodybuilding as that really easy way in, and loved how I felt when I lifted weights, and got into some really good routines. But as the years went by, let's just say, your knowledge improves, and you go from the extremes the extremes of bodybuilding, shall we say, of training 5-6 days a week. It's not sustainable as a natural athlete. I knew I had to sort of deep dive and learn more. So that's where I actually became a personal trainer back in 2012. I was fortunate enough to work with thousands of clients during that time, worked in some really cool health clubs, but made the mistakes of like what every coach does, of just looking at the body from like a macro level of calories in, calories out, with not understanding the fundamentals of how micronutrients play a big role, how the sun plays a big role, how emotions, trauma, how supplementation, blood work, and lifestyle, and all these other factors can play a massive role in how you look and how you feel. So that's what's always fascinated me. And working with clients and getting them in ridiculous shape, I always wanted to push more, wanted to help people more, as I'm on this global mission to help people just reclaim their health back, like how I did when I first started out. And I knew that I needed to study more, and found functional medicine, nutrition, some amazing mentors during that space to kind of piece the puzzles together. In an industry which calls itself the health and fitness industry, I knew the health part was massively lacking. So that's what drove me forward into that industry, and working with so many clients with autoimmune issues, gut health problems, issues with just their hormones in general. That is what fascinated me. But going back to this video, and the reason why we're here is bodybuilding kind of allowed me to, it was a kickstart in this journey. And reading Arnold Schwarzenegger encyclopedia over that time, listening to podcasts, having friends that competed, I knew I wanted a bit of that. And I never really pulled the plug. I've done photo shoots before, but never competed. So this is completely new to me, and you guys are going to be there every step of the way on this journey, and I'm so excited. So stay tuned as we prepare for this, as we officially are 16 weeks out from our first competition. And like I said, you guys are going to be learning everything from picking my brains on training, on nutrition, so like what I'm eating to match this, because we're going for quite a holistic approach to this, using what I've learned and gained knowledge-wise with functional medicine and nutrition. You're going to be seeing my blood work being taken to ensure that my health markers are in check, because preparing for a bodybuilding competition does put a lot of stress and strain on the body, especially as a male. Things like your male testosterone levels, things like your thyroid hormones, and obviously nutrient deficiencies can occur if you don't choose the right foods to support your diet. So we're going to try and mitigate that as much as possible. Posing, yeah, lifestyle, you guys are going to be there every step of the way. And the way I want to plan this out is, leading up to the competitions, we're 16 weeks out, we're 12 weeks out, we're 10 weeks out, 8 weeks out. You get the gist, okay? But I just want to say thank you. And I want to make sure that, we inspire others to follow this journey and show you what is possible as a natural athlete. I know there's many of us out there. And like I said, each their own. Like with those who are assisted, I feel this could be done naturally and in a healthy way. The one is not going to put you at risk, and certainly not to develop any sort of nasty chronic disease or any internal issues later down in the line, which is why blood work and testing and having lab work is vitally important to monitor this journey as well. So yeah, thank you for watching episode 1, the intro and the road to classic, and we will be with you in episode 2 very soon. Cheers guys.